Okay, guys, what's happening? Robert here, BP News. Once again, we're live. Late night. Breaking news. Hangout. Yes. We are live once again. Okay, so we're going to go through some of the news highlights for today, as well as just kind of, topics of the day. The gay thing, though, everybody's wondering. The gay thumbnail actually is news. Trump did talk about that. I'm not making... Some people will be like, you're just bashing Trump. No, this is just another topic of Trump's own words. So, a lot of you Christians out there, we're saying, oh, this was fake. You're just hating on the president, saying that it's a gay song and that he's doing this for some reason, that, there is some kind of gayness, they say, when they do their eschatological research on who that end time personage is that we will call the big AC. And the big AC, supposedly, according to eschatologists, is somehow gay. He's gay. He has no regard for women, it says. No regard. You could take that in, you could interpret that in different ways. Maybe he just doesn't care about women. Maybe he treats them with disrespect. Maybe he is bisexual. Who knows, how to interpret that passage. But many are like, he's got to be gay in order to be, like they were saying Obama was it. Because, Obama, obviously, there was something going on there. Even Obama had a gay dance. Remember that? Remember he had that little gay thing he was going... You remember that? Yeah, Obama did the gay thing too. But Obama, he kind of came across like he was very gay friendly and gay involved somehow. He kind of had an inside, connection to that whole community. Whereas Trump kind of comes across like like the dude, the dominant dude, like he's the guy in the chaps, There have been some very weird things that Trump has said, and a lot of people put it all together, and what do you got? I know Melania didn't like it. So Trump, out of his own words today, said, Melania is not happy with me when I do this little gay dance. I've even seen it where he wiggles his behind too. I'm like, that's the president of the United States. Yeah, doing that. Yeah, and the village people. He was at the villages in Florida. I know there's a lot of old people there. I don't know how many gay people are in the villages, but I don't know if it's connected to the villages. Stop by, but the village people, obviously, they were gay, and anybody that was living back in the 80s, and I guess that was late 70s, you would know. That was a gay anthem. People were telling me, no, that wasn't a gay anthem, Robert. You're just making it up because you just don't like Trump. No, I'm not. I don't dislike Trump as a person. I just think that he's got a destiny to fulfill, and I'm just pointing it out. That's all. But no, that was a gay song. So the village people... And you can do a Google search on it. In fact, the AI, I'll just tell you what the AI overview says when you do because it compiles everything that's on the internet and just spits it out in a condensed form, kind of Cliff Notey. Yeah. Here's what it says. The 1978 YMCA by the Village People is widely considered a gay anthem and a celebration of queer subculture, despite denials from its lyricist, Victor Willis, the guy who he probably didn't like the fact that it was used as a gay anthem. But too bad, Victor, it is. That's just the way people see it, and they use it. The song uses Men's Christian Association. This was Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA, as a metaphor for urban gay-friendly spaces and cruising for partners, reflecting the experiences of LGBTQ people in that era. So it's all about picking up other guys, and it's really a metaphor, but it was an anthem. Yes, it was an anthem. The song is considered a gay anthem because of its lyrics about hanging out with all the boys, its release on the album Cruisin', and the band's identity as a group catering to the gay market. And there was a lot of, I don't know if they were all gay, but the band members were pretty much gay. Kind of like Queen. You remember Queen, the band Queen? Contextual meaning in the 70s, many urban YMCAs, particularly in New York City and San Francisco, were known as spots for gay men to meet and mingle. The lyricist, who was straight, he was a songwriter, has long argued that the song is not a gay anthem, but rather a song about young men enjoying the wholesome recreational activities of the YMCA. However, he has noted he does not mind that the LGBTQ plus, oh, they added a plus there, community considers it an anthem. So there you go on that. There should be no denying it. But out of Trump's own mouth today, but anyways, we're just talking about the gay part of it. I guess we need a little peppy in our steppy because of all the terrible events that are looming on the horizon. The Dark Eagle, hypersonic missiles. Is that a good idea? Supposedly we only have 8 of them. I don't know. I just read this, and that it's one of the strategists and person that's high-level military guy said that this would be a total, complete blunder for the U.S. military to bring and introduce into the mix hypersonic missiles, because Iran has their own, and they can hit us too. It's like taking off the gloves. Well, you're going to fight fire with fire, right? It's going to have a backlash. And who knows? Maybe Iran has more hypersonic missiles than we do. But there's a lot of interesting news to look at here. And I'm going to show you guys a montage of stories that kind of piece together the picture of what's really actually cooking. You're going to smell what the Rock is cooking here. In just a moment, I'm going to go through it here. In the meantime, make sure that you subscribe if you're brand new. Share the video. Even if you're a longtime viewer, share the love of BP News, because I'm going to tell you what, don't ever take it for granted. Things could change on a dime. We could be censored. We still got the app. I made the app just for this moment. Did you see all the censorship stuff coming out now under Trump? Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of new censorship going down right now on all the major platforms. Why? Why is that happening? You have to ask yourself. Is it because too much exposure? Is there too much truth being brought forth? The average person is starting to see beyond the veil now. Oh my gosh. What we've been listening to is all BS lies. And people like Robert are revealing what's actually true. So we kind of put in some safeguards to because we knew that was coming. But it's here now. And if you haven't seen a lot of the videos on this now, all over YouTube, it's happening on all the major platforms. It's happening on TikTok. That's why they bought TikTok, so they could control it. It's happening on TikTok. It's happening on YouTube. It's happening on Facebook. And all the tech giants are in the pocket of the big man in the office. And X. It's happening on X too. Yeah. That's why Alex Jones is gone as of today. Today is his first day not being there. Alex Jones, gone. It's an era, the end of an era. You should be taking note. It's May 1st. Baltan's Day. It's a demonic festival. It's a very high holy day in the dark regions of the underworld. May 1st. This is the maypole. Symbolizes all kinds of terrible, demonic, evil things. So it all happens to happen today. But we've been seeing it all being rolled out. So we knew this was coming. This wasn't like a big surprise to us. That's why we started our app. Because the app is going to try to keep all of us together, and I'm not going to give up on it, but we need some support. I'm going to just tell you right straight, we need some people to get behind what we're doing. We need your support. Okay, so somebody get behind us that's got lots of money. Beltane. That's it, Sherry. Beltane, however you say it. How do you say it? Beltane? Beltane? I thought it was Beltane, right? So, all right, so let's go through some of the news. We got lots of news to look at. If you hear little tweets in the background, those are my little chicks. Some more little chicks that were hatched, about a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago now. They're starting to twerp a lot now. We're going to have to move those guys back outside here in a minute. It's starting to get kind of warm. It's finally starting to become spring here. This is finally spring in the Great White North. For those of you who live in the Great White North, you understand what I'm talking about. How do you like that image, that thumbnail? Isn't that crazy? That thumbnail of Trump? The Village People. Boy, that looks gay. How many people are out there listening? Look at that. And by the way, they're shadow banning a lot of people too. They are shadow banning channels like crazy right now. And if you don't know what shadow banning is, that just means you don't see it. I didn't post on I'm just going to tell you right now, I did not send out a text alert. Some of you guys may be used to getting a text alert. Okay, really quickly, before we get into the news here, I need to ask you guys some questions. How many of you all out there get the text alert? There's about 600 of you on our text alerts. I also do a push notification through the app. That's different. Push notification is directly through the app. If you're subscribed or you're registered with the app, you get a text alert. How many of you guys normally get text alerts? I did not put out a text alert tonight. The reason I didn't put out a text alert tonight is because we're going to have to pull back on some costs right now. Okay. Just saying. The text alert didn't go out. I did put a push notification. And if you have your app open, you'll see it. It'll pop up. But how many of you depend? I need to know this. How many of you, because I want to make sure that this is this is an important part of keeping everybody together. How many of you actually get the text alert? And the reason I say this is because if they censor our channels, you need some way to get in touch. And obviously, if you're on Telegram, that's good. But some people, they only do YouTube. Some people don't just kind of watch, and they only get one alert, and that's through the text. Yeah, Sherry, I didn't put out a text alert tonight. I did not. You're subscribed through Patreon, so Patreon alerts people too. That's a good way, and that also helps because if you're a supporter on Patreon, that also helps. But you can also follow on Patreon free, and that should give you an alert when we go live. So if we ever lose a channel, we always will tell you through the alerts. Hey, we're over on. Don't depend on YouTube. Don't depend on Google to alert you. If you're a person that has this on Google and on YouTube, and you go to your Roku TV and BP News pops up, you're depending on BP News. You're depending on the Google algorithm. That's not good because they can cut you off at any time. You have to have a redundant backup, and that would be getting connected to the app. That would be getting connected to Telegram. That would be getting connected to Patreon. So you have to have a few little backups, okay? So don't, because otherwise you're going to lose us, or get connected to some of our other channels on YouTube. There's a few other ones that we have. But anyways, I just want to make sure that you understand. Who's giving it? Oh, no, Trump is giving the Freemasons. She's talking about Trump. Grace is talking about Trump. She wasn't talking about me, I don't think. All right, just so we know where we're at here, just so you know, you're not surprised if something happens. We want to make sure we keep everybody on the same page. And everybody, you share that feed, and that helps get everything out there as well. When you share the feed, we grow. We get more people subscribing, and everything is peachy keen. All right. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning of the day, and we'll just sit here and go through the news cycle. You could always follow us on Telegram to know that. As it says here, May 1st. This is May 1st. Let me get the videos up and running here. Make sure we got our video section going. Let's go ahead and pull that up here real quick. All right. Okay, so this right here is the blockade on Iranian ports is now showing its effects as stores have empty shelves everywhere. And here's the video on that.
فردا روز کارگره به جای اینکه مثل همه دنیا بیایم جشن بگیریم الان نمیتونیم نه چیزی بخریم یا اینکه هم بیایم بخریم اینقدر گرونه یا اصلا همه قفسه خالیه واقعا مرسی سپاه.
Okay, so she's obviously freaking out in her own language, which we don't understand. But she's freaking out. She's like, where's all the food? All right, here's InfoWars last day. They are no longer on the air. They have a new channel. They're toasting to their old, their old moniker or their old name, brand. They've lost everything. They've lost the studio. They lost the brand. So now it's no longer going to be called InfoWars. It's going to be called the Alex Jones Store or the Alex Jones Network or AJ. So anyway, here's what he had to say.
And all glory goes to Jesus Christ and our Heavenly Father that leads, guides, and directs us. We are commit ourselves to God in this holy fight, and we are committed. And if God stands with us, who can stand against us? And that's how I close out. So I salute you all. What a crew. The hell we've been through has only made us stronger. Let me ask you, would you have any other way? No. Are you not stronger now in this fight? Yeah! I salute this crew and all the viewers and listeners to this fight, and I commit myself to Jesus Christ's hands.
Amen. God bless the InfoWar. Woo!
You are the InfoWar. It lives forever. We're going to play Frank Sinatra Blue Eyes and come back with the great Tom Renz and then Jay Dyer to close this out. God bless you all.
They're going to close out with the blue eye with Frank Sinatra. What? I did it my way. Is that what they were going to say? Now the end is near. Da, 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 da. Don't tell me they played that song. Okay. Now I got to tell you, when I was on Alex Jones, and yeah, I was on Alex Jones. Shortly thereafter, I had a dream. This was in 2022. 2022, the end of the year. It was around October. I think I was on September, if I'm not mistaken, of 22. And right after I was on, I had a dream. I had two dreams of Alex, and I shared the dreams with one of the producers. As we kind of got to know the producer. And here's what the dream was. This was before anything happened. Which is kind of weird because the story is totally God anyway. Like that God had me to be there at the time that everything was kind of happening. So what happened was the day that I was on, or the day I was slated to be on, they had to bump me because he was in court getting sued by the Sandy Hook people. This was the first lawsuit because they had two. First lawsuit was for millions of dollars. The second lawsuit that came through later on was for $1 billion, right? They just wanted to totally shut him down. It was over $1 billion, right? Who sues for $1 billion, really? But that was the judgment, right? The second one. But the day that I was supposed to be on was the day that happened. The first lawsuit, and he was in court. So they bumped me to the next Monday. And I happened to, when I went on, and this was for a product, it wasn't, but he talked to me. Like, we just kind of had a conversation about different stuff. You know, I sat and talked to him for about half an hour. And what was weird is that he kind of used the situation, because he likes Escape from New York, the movie Escape from New York, and he played that in my intro. And he kind of made fun of my name a little. Now, he was doing it in good humor. Because he loves the movie, and he kind of replayed the movie in his head while he was introing me. And in that movie, Snake, the guy whose name is Snake Plissken, I think his name is Snake Plissken, if you remember the movie, he is tasked with going in to save the president in the penal colony, which is New York, right? That New York becomes a penal colony in the movie. And all these criminals are basically housed in this huge city that is New York. Well, the president's plane crashes into New York, into the penal colony, which I don't know why even in the movie, why would the president be flying over the penal colony in the first place? But his plane crashes, and he's taken hostage, the president. And Snake Plissken is recruited by who he says represents me. He was looking at me as a representative of the guy who recruits Snake Plissken. And he kind of put himself in the position. And this is all role-playing intro stuff. This is just the way Alex rolls, right? He says, and he kind of goes through the whole thing. And then he says, he's going in to save the president. Basically, he's putting that whole scene together, and he's got the music in the background, you know, the Duke music, and so he calls. This is the day. The day I'm on is the day that he calls President Trump out, and he tells President Trump, if you don't get this squared away. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, what the issue was. I think it might have been. I'm trying to think of what the issue was now. He said, if you don't get this squared away, we're going to go with DeSantis. This was during the prior to the election. I'm going to support DeSantis. I'm going to throw my lot behind DeSantis. If you don't get this squared away, Trump, we want to support you, but I'm calling you. He called him out the day that I was there, right? So it was almost like he kind of used that as, hey, I'm going in to save the president. This is my task. I'm going in to save him, right? He's losing it. And anyway, I want to tell you about the dream. I didn't plan on telling you guys this, but this is just kind of something that was on my mind today. So he goes in. I do these things on the fly anyway. Do you guys want me to keep telling you this? Do you want me to tell you the rest of this story? Type 1 in the chat if you really want me to tell the rest of the story. Otherwise, I'm just going to move on to the news. It is an interesting story, but I want to see how many of you out there really want to hear it. Because I think it's like, it kind of illustrates how God sets things up. And it's happened in different ways too. You know, the same type of thing has happened with other people that I ended up meeting. And I'll say it's God, right? It's God. God is the one that's behind all that. He gives dreams and he gives visions for a reason, right? Okay, so you tell me if this is not God, because this is all coinciding with what's going on here. So he calls the president out. I thought it was very strange. I feel like Alex has a heart for the Lord, but I think he's been compromised in many ways because of the power, because of the influences that are around him politically. I think he's got some errors in his thinking doctrinally, but I do believe that he has a heart down deep somewhere in there. He was at one time kind of focused on the Lord, and but I really felt led to share with him when I was there about some things that the Lord put on my heart to share with him, and so I did. So after that time there, when I was there, I had this dream. And in the dream, I saw him with 10 people surrounding him. 10. And I was sitting down with him, talking to Alex. And he was crying. He was crying. And he kind of opened up to me in the dream. And the 10 people that he had around him, he was training them to take over what he was doing. He was training them to take over. And then I saw a padlock on InfoWars, and I saw him giving away a truck or an SUV. I said in the, and I can go back and read it because I sent it in a text. And I did read it today because I went back and I read it. I said in the text, this was in October of 2022. No, this part of it I think was in December of 22. This was before Alex started offering cars and well, actually it was trucks. He started giving away trucks and SUVs later on. When did he start doing that? Just in the last year or a little more than a year. So in the dream, I saw him giving away a truck or an SUV, and I said, he really likes these trucks. He really likes this truck in the dream. And he was sitting there talking to me, and he was crying, but he was also like kind of like he had like a discipleship kind of group that he was training. And so I've criticized, believe me, I've criticized Alex. Everybody should be subject to some kind of critique. And I think Alex has a lot of great things that he's done. I'm not discounting his work over the years. He's done a lot of good things. But I also think that he's blurred some lines that I think ultimately came back to bite him in the butt. He shouldn't have. And now, he's probably paying the price now in some ways. But anyways, I still think that the Lord has a plan in his life, and so I'm not throwing him under the bus or anything. But one thing that that I saw was that I said trucks and SUVs. He's got a truck or an SUV, and here, what is he doing now? He's giving away trucks and SUVs. This is so weird. The place is being padlocked. He can't get in. He had a video today where he's in front of his studio and he can't get in because it's padlocked. And then when you go to his Alex Jones store, what you see is a giveaway of SUVs and trucks. How many of you guys remember when we were having the fellowship when I told you about the dream of me talking to Roseanne Barr? How many of you guys remember that? And then it happened. How many of you guys remember that? So, 3 or 4? Well, actually, I had that dream about Roseanne Barr right after she got canceled for supporting Trump, remember? And she called out one of Obama's, I think it was, what was her name? She basically kind of made a joke about her, and the joke was taken in the wrong way because they said it was racist because she's kind of black. She's not really black. I think the woman that she was making fun of is actually Iranian. She's actually Iranian, but she made fun of her and said she looked like a cross between the Planet of the Apes and an ISIS creation, something between ISIS and the Planet of the Apes. And so basically it was a really off-color joke, right? So they canceled Roseanne. She lost all of everything. They were doing a Roseanne reboot, remember? And she lost that. They basically took away everything from her, right? She was like a pariah. Nobody wanted to talk to her. Everybody was like just hating on her. All her old cast members just kind of backed away. It was really a sad situation. But it was right after that I had the dream about her. And I had this dream that I was sitting talking to her on a microphone, like we were sitting talking, and she liked me in the dream, but there was a part of her that didn't like me at the end, or was agitated with me, and that's probably because we don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, obviously. But there's something about Roseanne. If you really listen to Roseanne, even though she's absolutely crazy. She's actually way out there when you really listen to her. There is a part of her that I think is open to some of the things that God was doing in her trying to get her attention. She kind of listened for a little bit. She talked about Jesus. She talked about the Christians and how they were great supporters of her, and that she started saying that she believed in Yeshua. And she's a Jew, right? So she's totally Jewish. For a Jew to say that, it's like anathema. You don't say that when you're a Jew. But she still is pretty Zionistic, I think. Anyway, in the dream, I was talking to her, and sure enough, what, 4 or 5 years later? Okay. So when I had the dream, I noticed she started posting on her YouTube channel because I wanted to check out what did this dream mean. I always follow my dream and I always kind of look, and analyze it, and try to figure it out. Like, what does this mean? You know, like, there's something to this, God? I think you're giving me this for a reason. You want me to look at something, so I'm gonna research. I'm gonna search it out. And so, sure enough, she started doing little YouTube videos, right? And about that time, she started talking to people. Like, that's the first time she ever kind of opened up and started talking to other people, kind of like she wanted to test the waters in getting into a podcast. That was kind of weird. I said, hey, I see a little seed here of the dream. She's talking to people now. Before, she would make these stupid videos where she was, cooking, what they call it, she was like cooking marijuana stuff, like she would make marijuana tea or something. I forget what she was doing. And she was always high, making these really weird videos. But after that, she started just making videos where she would talk to people about an issue, right? And so it kind of looked almost like a podcast kind of format. And I was like, wow, that's that dream. And I would tell the fellowship a little bit about, some of you guys that were part of the fellowship might remember this. Anybody remember me talking about Roseanne back in the day when I had those dreams? Anybody that's here? Is there anybody? Anyways, so what ended up happening was she started slowly developing this desire, I think, and it manifested with different videos where she started talking to people more regularly, right? That just were random. It wasn't formatted. It was just her talking to somebody that she put on the video or something. It was really kind of crude, and it was just her. She didn't have anybody helping her. It was just her. And so then it come all the way around to the time when I'm doing all this stuff with the phone company, and I'm doing that business that I was a part of. And this is how I got to meet some of these people. But I ended up pulling back to go back to my podcast, right? I started going, okay, this is disconnect. We're going back to the podcast. This was probably in maybe 22, 21, 22, end of 22, 10, 21. And so when I started to do my podcast, I kind of revamped it, and I kind of started really focusing on it because I had left doing podcasting. I was only doing one every 2 weeks. I'd come on once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I was just hardly ever doing YouTube anymore because I was so busy doing other stuff. And so what happened was I started going back to YouTube, right? And I started doing regular shows. Well, she started her podcast at the same time, at the same day almost. It was probably the same day. She had rolled out with her professional intro, and her son, who's really a smart guy, her son Jake produces her show, and he kind of keeps her balanced, which she definitely needs. And and so it happened at the same exact time. It was like the same day. And I said, whoa. I go, so that's a fulfillment of the dream, right? So I started telling people about this. And then after that, it just so happens I get this little bug in my ear to go try to get in contact with her. And sure enough, I contacted Jake, which is her son. And he was all excited about doing what we were doing. And he listened, and I ended up having a call with him and got together with him. And we had a conversation about some things and had a few conversations, right? So the dream kind of came full circle. So I actually did get in contact with them. Just to kind of show you that that dreams do have significance if you just pay attention and you pray for God's influence in your thought process while you're awake and while you're asleep. It'll influence your thought process. That's why I always am very sensitive to my thoughts, because I know that I can be inspired at a certain moment, at a certain time, to say a certain thing for a certain person that might be listening. It's happened I don't know how many times. I hope you're all conscious of that. All right, the flies are starting to come back out. This is fly season, so I'm going to have to bring out my fly gun. You guys, how many of you guys saw my fly gun? That salt gun? What do they call it? Fly assault? Anyways, you put salt in it and you cock it back. It looks like an AR, but you shoot the fly and it just basically destroys them. So I see a fly. This is like the first fly I've seen in a long time. Usually the flies start coming out in the spring, right? But yeah. So anyway, okay, let's get back to the news. I could probably go on and on, but I'm not going to do that. Let's get into the rest of the news here. Okay, so we got Alex Jones saying goodbye. He's got 10 people standing around him. There you go, 10 people. Here we go. He says, Jones says, I'm ready to die for this, thinking that taking my money will stop me. Makes me want to strangle you spiritually, he says. We will sue and win. We don't start fights, we finish them, right? So he's really upset. You could tell he's still stewing about that. All right. Moving on to other news. So horrendous warehouse. I totally misspoke on that one. Warehouses all over the U.S. are being converted into detention centers. Read the whole article here. Yeah, you have to check this out. This is very concerning. You have to wonder, what in the world are they doing with these detention centers? These aren't for migrants or for illegals. I'm just going to tell you, I do not think that these are for illegals. With everything else that they're doing, no. Now that censorship is coming back, I think it's going to be, and I told you guys, I said censorship is coming back with a vengeance under Trump 2.0. Anytime we've had massive censorship, it's been under Trump. Now, Trump played it off as if it was an attack from the left, but this time his cards are all out. He's not hiding his hand anymore. Now it's in your face, and he doesn't care about you, MAGA. That should be obviously apparent. Now, you may still be holding on, like I said, that beat wife syndrome kind of mentality for dear life, because you don't have anywhere else to go mentally, politically, emotionally. What I'm just telling you, spiritually, you need to get right with God. And I'm talking to a lot of Christians out there that are so consumed with politics, and they're committed to this cause because supposedly he says some nice things about Jesus every once in a while, after he says all kinds of weird stuff and posts all kinds of terrible pictures of himself. I mean, it's just one lie after another. I don't know why you can't see that, but I don't know. Everybody wants to believe, I guess. Israel braces for Iran fighting to resume as early as next week. This is the Times of Israel. Trump briefed on military options. This was dated yesterday. Fox News U.S. CENTCOM just briefed President Trump for a final blow against Iran. And this is Jesse Waters. Let's see what he had to say.
Fox News alert, it's decision time. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper has just briefed the president in the Situation Room about what could be the final blow. The U.S. military is preparing for a short and powerful wave of strikes. Targets include the enemy's remaining military assets, leadership, and infrastructure.
All right. So there you go on that. And then it says here, Health Ranger, this is Mike Adams. Are you noticing how extreme censorship is coming back with a vengeance? Mass deplatforming and demonetization across YouTube, mass banning from TikTok, and even X is ramping up shadow banning and demonetization. The Trump administration didn't end censorship. It just shifted it from left-wing censorship and speech police to right-wing censorship and speech police. And I would just say one thing I disagree with on that is that as it was happening supposedly to him as the suffering servant or the lamb that was about to be sacrificed, I think he was in complete control and just played the part as the one that was suffering with persecution. I think they allowed that to happen. Whether or not it was real or not, I'm sure that there was a lot of reality to it, but the powers that be that were very high level were definitely still in control of the levers of ultimately what would come of Trump, or what would actually take place. And sure enough, he escaped, right? Just like it says that the deadly mortal head wound was healed. And that has to do with political, judicial, it's not just physical. A lot of Christians interpret that as a physical head wound, but it's judicial and political, and it's healed, and everybody wonders. And yes, everybody did wonder. After Butler, everybody wondered at how he skyrocketed. He rocketed into a place of dominance very quickly. And that's where this all comes into play here. The censorship was on both sides, supposedly, but we know that there is only a uniparty. Okay, there isn't two parties. It may seem like it, just like when you go see WWE fights or these fake wrestling matches, it does look like they're hitting each other. In fact, listen to this. It's a known play where these fake wrestling matches are happening, where they're literally hitting each other, and they're big guys. They can handle the abuse. They're young, but they're playing a part. And there is what they call the nicking of the ear to make lots of blood. You know, when you nick your ear, it bleeds a lot. Your ear, for some reason, has a lot of blood that will come, even with a small little nick. And so they'll take something sharp or something, and they'll when they're fighting, they'll scrape their ear, and blood will be all over, so that the crowd sees the blood, right? They love the blood, the bloodlust. Oh, this is real. Look at that, blood everywhere. So, that's a part of WWE, fake fighting, so that the crowd on both sides is jazzed up, and they get so emotionally invested and committed, and they think it's real, but it's not. It's all part of the game. It's all part of making the big bucks. Battle of the Billionaires. Remember that one? Donald Trump and McMahon. Remember? How fake that was. Everyone's like, it's real. No, it's not real. He said that's why independent platforms are now more important than ever. And he's talking about his platform, I guess. But it's true, hey, you got to be diversified. You got to have redundant backups to be able to keep in touch now. Again, this is what we did during the censorship of 2020, 21, 22, is we set up our text alert system. Remember? We didn't get censored because we had 35,000, and I still have that list. I still have the 35,000 phone number list of those that subscribed. But I can't use it because it costs money to be able to input all that. For every text, it's a penny or more, and that adds up. When you text 35,000 people, you know how much that adds up to if it's a penny a piece? I think it's like $400 or $500. I think it's like $600. I think it's like $500 if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Anytime I click that button, 35,000 people would get a text alert. It would cost me, let's see, times 0.01. I'll just say 1 penny. Yeah, 350. Actually, the text alerts were more than 1 penny. It's more like almost 2 pennies. It's almost like 2 cents a text. So you're talking a penny and a half. It's close to $550 for 35,000 texts. But because we did that, we started off very slow, like we did right now. We only had 1,000 people that were on our text alerts, and it kept growing and it kept growing. More people kept signing up. And eventually we had 35,000. And those 35,000 people, whenever we got censored, we just started a new channel. And we get about, 10,000 people watching, 20,000 people watching. And that channel would blow up, and we would get all kinds of new subscribers. And then the whack-a-mole would come around, and they would hit us down again, and we would just pop up on another channel because we had the text. And that's when they started censoring the text. The text. Remember, during COVID, they went after texts, SMSs, and they were monitoring, and they were trying to stop those from going out. Well, it's probably because who knows? Maybe it was because of our channel. I have no idea, but I'll just tell you what, that affected our ability to send out text. Now, what we're doing now is a little different, but it is still text, considered text. But we didn't input all of the 35,000. I only put in about 2,500 of the phone numbers in there, and I was like, it's way too expensive. We don't have the money to do this. And so we're just going to build it slow. And as the channel supports itself, we'll see if we can grow back. But if this may be the last, moment. Who knows? I'm just trusting what God wants on this, and we're going to go with what he shows us. U.S. ships 6,500 tons of munitions and equipment to Israel in 24 hours. 2 cargo ships carried thousands of air and ground munitions, military trucks, and other military equipment. This was just today. And this is according to the Jerusalem Post. You can go check that out. All you got to do is go and get connected over there at BP News on Telegram. So this actually was yesterday's post. It wasn't today. So I just looked. That was yesterday's post. Shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has declined by more than 90% since the start of the U.S.-Iran war. Bad news. Multiple signs suggest that airstrikes on Iran could be imminent in the coming days. Okay, so everybody's been talking about that imminency, but has it happened? Not yet. This guy here, you can really see how bad the censorship is getting. I posted this because he breaks down kind of how they're censoring everything. Let me just show you how they're censoring stuff now. Look at this, just so you kind of get a feel for what is happening here.
Or repetitious content that lacks significant human creativity, educational value, or unique commentary. So let's say you make a YouTube channel and you have Claude or ChatGPT or something generate 100 video ideas and then generate 100 scripts on all those ideas. And then, I don't know, you have an AI make those videos completely all AI generated content, and then a voiceover, an AI voiceover, does all the audio, and AI makes the title and thumbnail and all that stuff. It's not made by a human, right? Nothing in that process is made by a human at all. It's literally 100% AI slop. It's mass-produced, automated, repetitious content. Now, there are some YouTube channels that do this and are still up on YouTube, surprisingly, but there are a lot of channels that have gotten demonetized over this, and a lot of them actually terminated over this, which I think is, yeah, it's a good thing. It adds no value to YouTube at all. But a lot of innocent people are being accused of this by YouTube, and YouTube just acts. They get demonetized for something they didn't even do. People are getting mistakenly identified as making AI content when they're actually not AI.
So YouTube offers all of these AI features. I don't use any of them, but they offer all these AI features to use in making content, and yet they're banning people that are using them. And it's really crazy, but it goes on he goes on to talk about why. Let's see if I can find this one part where he was. Let me see if I can find the part.
Videos is something new, or has something that makes it different from the last video and shows like human creativity, then that's fine. Gaming creators, reaction channels, all that kind of stuff is fine under this policy. So then why the is YouTube terminating everyone? Playing Roblox is not something to terminate us over, YouTube. Okay, I gotta chill. I'm actually pretty chill. It's just annoying that this happens so many times. There's so many people online that's complaining about this, and it just looks really bad that YouTube is demonetizing people over this while also heavily pushing AI. It feels like every 2 weeks YouTube comes out with some sort of new AI update. You know, like, I don't even know what this means. YouTube is introducing VTuber-like AI avatars that let creators make videos without being on camera. How is that? How is that not inauthentic content? If the video is about a YouTuber that isn't even in the video. That's just AI slop, dude. What the hell? That's actually crazy. I just saw this now. That's actually crazy.
This is a reminder.
No.
Imagine.
Oh, yeah, imagine that. Imagine that, YouTube, that you would actually do this while enforcing this inauthentic content on creators who are innocent. It's annoying. A man was discovered with almost 90% of his brain mass missing, while leading to an almost normal life as an inauthentic content policy manager at YouTube. That's funny, but it's so relatable, because the amount of times I've seen on YouTube someone who's complained about it, I check their channel and the videos are actually just fine. Like, it's just a normal YouTuber. It's just crazy to me. And then when they appeal it, the YouTube AI says, oh yeah, I stand by what the decision was. Like, you didn't even look at it, YouTube, all right? Oh man, it is a pretty big problem.
So they're using this inauthentic content AI crap as an excuse to take down channels. Like he said, he would go and look at the channel. There was nothing wrong with the channel. The channel was just someone like me talking. But the AI would say, oh, we're going to flag this. Why did it flag it? Palantir. Yeah, that's probably it. Saying stuff that you're not supposed to say. Yeah, that's it. So they demonetize you, or they delete you, or they shadow ban you. One of the three. Either one of those three is detrimental to a lot of YouTube creators who do make a little bit of, funds from monetization. That actually helps that creator have the time to do what they're doing. This is why I kind of look at, viewer-based kind of funding as well as a secondary backup, because I'm going to tell you what, it's not the way it used to be. I'm just telling you. So in order to get your true news and freedom of speech, you got to get behind channels like ours. All right, so let's move on. Here we go. This is, and this is what I said. I'm deleting a bunch of videos because I don't want any of my videos to be flagged that might be just content that I didn't produce personally. So I'm only leaving up my live streams. Anything else, I'm taking everything down. Anything else that was just content that was informative, that was, other people's reactions or whatever, I took it all down. So all you have now on this channel is just me doing a live stream. That's it. Just in case, that's just that's the way to try to stop this from happening to this channel, because I think it's coming. Security alert, U.S. Embassy in London on May 1st. This had to do with them urging Americans in the UK, this is an American alert, to exercise increased caution in public spaces. Why? Because London is full of Muslims, and they may see Americans as targets. I mean, I don't know if you've seen London lately, but it looks like a Muslim state. And they said that a terrorist attack is highly likely. Highly likely. This is coming from the State Department here in the U.S. The alert comes as British authorities elevate national terrorism threat level to severe. It's kind of like a weather alert. Yeah, tornadoes incoming. F5s. This is bad. This is coming from an Iranian news channel. I forget the name of it. I think it's Mir. But anyways, this is a statement from Kazemi Kwame. He's a former Iranian envoy to Iraq and Afghanistan. And he declares that Tehran's gains in the waterway are permanent. So what he says here is that the strait will not return to pre-war conditions, and that the achievements in the Strait of Hormuz will turn into lasting benefits. So he's basically saying that Iran has had all the gains in what's going on there in the strait, and the U.S. has been a big loser with everything that's unfolded. And now Iran is in complete control. That's what he's saying. And that's what a lot of commentators are saying, which contradicts a lot of the narrative of the U.S. government and the U.S. military. So what are you going to believe? Well, I'll show you some stuff that's very interesting. President Trump has informed Congress that the war in Iran is over, as the War Powers Resolution deadline was looming. So he did this just for the fact that they can restart the clock the next 60 days without declaring war in Congress, right? So he declares it over at the end of the 60, right toward the end of the 60-day time frame, so that he can restart the clock once again. If hostilities were to resume, the 60-day clock required by the War Powers Resolution would restart, and that is why he made this statement today. He's going around Congress's approval and the law. And this is Trump talking about how Melania hates it when he dances, sometimes referred to as the gay national anthem. This is Trump's own words. Just listen.
And she hates when I dance, too, at the end, too. She hates when I dance to what's sometimes referred to as the gay national anthem. You know that. She hates it. You know, that song was number 5 32 years ago, and it went to number 1 32 years later. There's never been anything like it. It never hit number 1. It was number 5 32 years ago, and it went to number 1 for months during the last months of the game. We love that song. But she goes, darling, please. You know, she's a very elegant woman. She goes, darling, please don't dance. It's not presidential. I said, it may not be presidential, but I'm leading by 20 points in the poll, so something.
Okay. So whatever it takes to win. I mean, what else will you do in order to win? As long as you win, right? That's all that matters. The means, the ends justify the means. Trump dances to the YMCA shortly after saying that Melania hates him dancing to the national gay anthem. So here he is, thumbing his nose at his own wife.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Sorry about that. I was muted there. So I'm so sorry. I sometimes I'm not looking at what I'm doing there. So so Trump basically had to do this little golf swing move at the end of his little dance to kind of make it look like he's a little more manly, like, right? You got to kind of push that manly look. You know, late night, Johnny Carson kind of move, right? Well, what this, I think it's just going back to the fact that he does like golf, and, you know, the big pro name Arnold Palmer comes to mind because he does love golf so much that he mentions Arnold Palmer in a very graphic kind of way, a body part of Arnold Palmer while he was in the shower. He mentions this, and you got to kind of wonder, why would a president mention someone's anatomy, talking about how well endowed this person was. It just seems very odd to me. But anyways, that's just Trump, I guess. I mean, that's who you voted for, right? Trump. And some of you will remember this.
But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this guy.
First of all, why would he have to say that he loves women? Is there a little doubt there that maybe he likes men by what he's talking about? Is that why he had to say that he loves women? Like, I wouldn't have to say, hey, I really love women. I'm really straight. But I'm just going to tell you about Arnold Palmer's, body part. It's just amazing. Everybody was like, wow. Listen to him.
This is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable. I probably shouldn't say this. Yeah, you probably shouldn't. That's probably not a good idea. And either is this. I think that was when he was making gestures about some media personalities doing something to the mic, which was pretty graphic in and of itself. But here's Alex Jones talking about the possibility that there is a video on Donald Trump and that we shouldn't be worried about it. This was 7 years ago.
No video of President Trump sucking a ding-dong. And so what if there was? That's a lot better than World War III, Owen. I never sucked any ding-dongs. But I'll tell you, if they were in a black...
I'm sorry to have to put this on, but this is all in the public. This is all something that Trump himself is doing. And this was all in the media. This was in the people thought was coming out in the Epstein files, etc. Do you see Owen? This is why Owen probably left. See, this is a pretty off-color moment. I probably shouldn't have shared this, but look at Owen's face here. I mean, Owen is just, he's like, that's a little bit too much, Alex. A little bit too much information there, Alex. Did you have to go there, Alex? Really? Seriously? That was a little bit too graphic. I didn't realize it was that bad there, but that's pretty bad. Okay, U.S. green lights emergency military sales to Middle East in major arms blitz. This is according to the Business Insider. Precision kill weapons systems rushed to Israel, Qatar, and the UAE. Integrated battle command system to Kuwait. These are all hypersonics, I believe. Look at this. Let's just take a look and see. You can obviously hear my little chicks in the background. Let's see. These are golden huevos, golden eggs in a economy that is on fire. We couldn't get much better than that. It ain't getting any better than that, is it? Oh, yes, it is. Prices of gas are going to continue to rise. Trump did that. Yes, he did. And it's only going to get worse. Trump better be doing something really quickly to gain back the narrative, because the Iranians are looking pretty good. And the Chinese and the Russians, they're like, you make one move and we're going to direct all these hypersonics to your targets. And yes, they have destroyed a huge number of our bases all throughout the Middle East. Yes, they have. This is not propaganda. There's video that shows it as well. Trump brags about Iran war, then says the deal may be impossible. The president said he is not satisfied with Tehran's latest proposal, but believes that starting a war with Iran has been very smart. I did something that was, I don't know, foolish, brave, but it was smart. How could it be foolish and smart at the same time? How could something be actually foolish and smart at the same time? I would do it again, he said. I would blow up the global economy again if I had a chance and an opportunity.
With all of that, I said we have to do it, so I think you understand. But I am surprised. I thought the stock market would go down by 25%. I thought that oil prices would be at much higher than they are right now. They're not nearly as high as I thought. And we're going to, look, we're winning so big. We're winning again. Their Air Force is gone. Their ships are gone. They have a Navy, 159 ships. That's a pretty good Navy. Within the first week, 159 out of 159 ships are right now lying at the bottom of the sea. Their Navy is gone. And we're discussing, I spoke to him today, we're discussing, it's a little hard to figure out who their leaders are, frankly. Their leaders are gone. The first set is gone. The second set is gone. Khomeini was gone. And they were pretty evil people. Not pretty evil, they were evil. They killed 42,000 protesters. 42,000! And in a period of 2 weeks, they killed 42,000 protesters. But we had to get this done, and we're really doing well. We're just winning. If it were a fight, they'd stop it. If this were a fight, they'd stop it. You know that expression? It's true. But they're not coming through with the kind of deal that we have to have, and we're going to get this thing done properly. We're not going to leave early and then have the problem arise in 3 more years. Under 4 years of Crooked Joe, I go crooked and sleepy. Which is better, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe?
Okay, so there's that. That's his take on it. Iranian strikes have damaged 16 U.S. military sites, some virtually unusable. CNN's investigation reveals unprecedented destruction. A once bustling American micro-city in Kuwait's Camp Buring now stands nearly empty after weeks of Iranian missile and drone barrages. Here's what it looks like.
Camp Buring, Kuwait. American soldiers enjoying a karaoke night at one of the biggest U.S. military hubs in the Gulf. That was then. This is now. A once bustling American microcity in the desert, nearly empty and heavily damaged after a weeks-long barrage of Iranian missiles and drones. One of many U.S. military facilities in the oil-rich Arabian Peninsula, targeted by Iran even as the U.S. and Israel pummeled the Islamic Republic's large arsenal. So what impact have Iran's strikes had on America's footprint in the Middle East? A CNN investigation found evidence of unprecedented destruction. We can reveal that strikes damaged at least 16 U.S. installations across 8 countries. According to our analysis and sourcing, that's the majority of American military positions in the region, and some of them are virtually unusable now.
Yeah, and we saw reports on that too the other day. How many bases that are no longer in operation that we had surrounding Iran are no longer there. So this is a Army general or Army Major General that is retired, and he says that U.S. Dark Eagle deployment would be a major strategic blunder. A major strategic blunder. His name is Randy Maynor, retired U.S. Army Major General, says the reported plan to send Dark Eagle hypersonic missiles to the Middle East reveals a Pentagon in panic. Here's why it's a bad idea. No one can stop hypersonics. Neither can the U.S., and Iran has plenty of its own missiles to obliterate or to retaliate with. To retaliate with. China, Russia are watching. This would reveal the U.S.'s most advanced weapons to its real rivals for a major tactical gain. If the U.S. owns Iranian skies, then why do we need hypersonics? As Boehner puts it, if we have unfettered access to airspace over Iran, we should just send in B-52s, right? So supposedly, yeah, we have air dominance. We don't even need to worry about. We could just fly over and bomb them, whatever, as long as and as fast as much as. Why would we need a hypersonic in there? So I guess this is what they're planning to do. The U.S. currently has 8 Dark Eagle missiles, and they won't change the war's outcome, Boehner concludes. They will only drain U.S. readiness and give China and Russia a front row seat to America's latest tech. So I guess that's all we have is 8 of those? Really? So we just developed these missiles. Now, how many hypersonic missiles does Iran possess? That's what we have to ask ourselves. I think that Iran is saving those missiles for targets that are high value American targets, high level assets. They're not sending them. I don't even think they're using them on bases as much as they are on, and they're saving them for a certain moment. How many that they have, who knows? But I'm sure that China and Russia had every bit of interest in sending them what they needed. This is AWS. This is a cloud storage facility. And now this I don't think is actually the one, but it says Amazon admits that Iranian strikes crippled its UAE cloud region. Recovery will take months. The tech giant confirmed that its data centers in the UAE were hit by Iranian retaliatory drone strikes in early March, causing a prolonged disruption to AWS cloud services. Now, that would affect a whole lot of businesses, a whole lot of critical infrastructure that depends on Amazon Web Services. And this is some of the large hubs for the Middle East, and I'm sure it affects even the West. They're the world's largest cloud provider and they actively support the U.S. military, including CENTCOM, and that's why the Iranians have made them as a target. They've also put on the list Google, Microsoft, some of our chip makers. There's a whole bunch of big names on there. Palantir headquarters, they've also put those headquarters on target list. They put a bunch of targets that are pretty well-known names for American, technologies and ingenuities. This was interesting. This was seen across multiple states. California, Oregon, Washington, also into British Columbia. Did anybody see this? I just reposted this. This thing came in so bright and so fast, and it lit up the whole sky. It was massive, bright, streaking across the sky. How many of you guys out there in the chat saw this? Anybody? Just curious if anybody in our chat room saw it. They said it happened over multiple states. Anybody? I'm looking at the chat right now. Just kind of curious. Testing, 1, 2. Anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? Hey, this is a good opportunity to plug our website, bpprepper.com. Go check out bpprepper.com and get set up. Hey, by the way, I'm giving away a bunch of free stuff when I do send out your order. Like Deborah, are you out there, Deborah? You're probably going to watch this in the archives, Deborah, but your order is being filled, and I'm going to add a bunch of free seeds so that you can sprout away. Or actually, you're going to do microgreens, right? She's getting one of those lighting setups. Definitely, Deborah, get it and use it. I'm looking at a big old rack right now of microgreens. They are awesome. I love them. And I want to get as many people into this as possible. It's not hard to do. All you do is watch a few videos that we got, post it on the site, and you're on your way. While you're there, get set up for prepping whatever is coming. You're going to need to be prepped up on. Karina, you're here, Karina? Okay, Karina. I'm glad that you're here. By the way, let's just post. I think I have this. Yeah, here's some of the links here. Oops, this is the wrong one. I put the wrong one. That was from when I went live. Let me post the links here just so you have them. You're dreaming of microgreens? Are you serious? Here, I'll just post everything right here so you guys can see it. Let's just put the microgreen link there. If I can. Let's see if that works. I think that works. So there you go. Get some microgreens set up and support the channel. Share it. Love it. Like it. Subscribe to it. Hug it. Squeeze it. Kiss it. Call it George. Whatever you want to do. Just love what we're doing here in every way. Okay, what else we got here? 17 shallow earthquakes swarm near Area 51, some 2.5 kilometers deep, very shallow, and one that was actually a 4.4 magnitude. Natural underground activity or nuclear tests? Or is it the UFO release? Are they getting ready to do something? Listen to what Trump says.
Well, in the span of 24 hours, there have been 17 earthquakes near Area 51. It started with a 4.4 magnitude quake just 2.5 miles underground. The area is normally not prone to earthquakes this shallow, and it's leading to theories of nuclear testing or even UFOs, because it all happened after President Trump said this.
Do you have an update on the UFO files and what we're going to be seeing?
Well, I think we're going to be releasing as much as we can in the near future. They want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things from that we have, and I think some of it's going to be very interesting.
Joining us now to respond, Dr. Stephen Greer, UFO researcher in retired physician. Great to see you, doctor. So are these earthquakes just a version of burning the files at an embassy when people got to get out?
Well, the thing that lights up in my mind is that back in the 1990s, I briefed a man who worked and designed a security apparatus at some of the facilities out there, particularly the ones up near Groom Lake and Pahut Mesa. And he explained that on the top of those complexes underground were like bunker busting type bombs, but underneath them were thermonuclear devices, so that if anybody was getting close to those facilities, and by this, it could even be the legal government of the United States, they could collapse those facilities. No, I don't know that that's what happened, but I know for a fact those security systems are out there. So that's one consideration. Now, it could just be a cluster of earthquakes, or they could be doing some legitimate underground testing out in that region.
Yeah, there are a lot of mountains out there, so earthquakes are not out of the question.
Well, that's UFOs coming to town. Hopefully they're going to reveal all these demonic entities that are guiding the government. We're going to start to see really what's behind it all, right? Everybody's going to wake up. All en masse. This is it. All right, guys. I think that's about it. It is a late night. It is 10:30 on the left coast and 1:30 on the east. So get some rest. Make sure you're back here tomorrow. And prepare for what's coming, because definitely things are fixing to go off the charts here anytime. I just think it's going to happen very soon. Whatever is coming, it's going to be something big. Looking at some of your guys' comments here. God bless Sherry. God bless you, Patty. Opie Dopey. How's it going? Lester Wynn. good to see you. And CSC drivers, love y'all. You guys have a great evening and a great day tomorrow. I'll probably be seeing you back on here tomorrow. Actually, it might be, because I'm going to be busy tomorrow. It might be a little bit later if I do. We'll see what happens. All right. God bless. We'll talk to you guys soon. The Lord love you, and stay tuned. Keep your eyes looking up, right? For your redemption is drawing nigh.